Hello everyone, or bonjour should I say. My name is Romain, even though everyone calls me Roman here in Australia, and I lead ASA's tour to southwest France with my longtime friend Adrian. In this video I'll tell you a bit more about us and our interests, as well as going through a few favorite places of mine on this tour. Adrian and I have known each other since we were little boys, and we both grew up in Auvergne, a mountainous area in central France that gets its name from the Gallic tribe of the Arvernes. That's the right side of the photo on your screen. We went to primary school together, secondary school and high school together in our hometown of Aurillac. Then we moved to Toulouse to study history at Toulouse University, which is the second oldest university in France after La Sorbonne in Paris, and was founded in 1229. Adrian graduated with a Bachelor of Arts. I graduated with a Master of Arts and a thesis focusing on Italian exiles in France during the fascist period, which also led me to study in Rome as well. After university, Adrian left Toulouse and went on to live in Dordogne and guide in the caves. He still lives there today. I stayed in Toulouse for another 15 years, on and off, traveling extensively, hence me being on the other side of the world these days. Needless to say, we do love history. Adrian was always interested in archaeology and prehistory, whereas I preferred social and political history. We both love nature and the outdoors. I like mountain walking. That's the environment I grew up with, and it suits my nature. Adrian goes often truffle hunting. After all, Périgord is the home of the black truffle. And he got a dog for that a few years ago called Punti, which you might meet on tour if you come with us. Being French, of course, we do love our food. And the day you meet me, you'll realize that instantly. The Southwest has rich food traditions, very diverse. There's a few examples for you on the screen. And is also an important wine-growing region from Bordeaux to the Mediterranean area. With food comes markets, and there are markets everywhere in southwest France. You would know that it's an important element of socialization and identity for French people, and we do visit quite a few markets on this tour. If not a passion, we do enjoy a bit of rugby union, that is, which is the sport number one in southwest France. For the little story, you can see on the left side of the picture the logo of the Toulouse rugby team, the Stade Toulousain, which was created in the 50s and is inspired from a mosaic you can find in the Basilica Saint-Cernin, which we visit on the tour, in a chapel dedicated to St. Thomas Aquinas, hence the letters ST. This tour is, of course, very special to us, and I do have some favorite places that I'd like to share with you. The first one would be the fortified villages of La Couvertoirade on the right and Sainte-Eulalie de Cernan on the left. Both these villages can be found on the Larzac Plateau in the foothills of the Massif Central. This limestone plateau is called a cosse in French. It is wild, not very populated, and beautiful. It is a pastoral area with lots of sheep producing the Roquefort cheese, which I'm sure you know about. During the 12th century, the Knight Templars started to farm this land, gathered the population in these fortified villages, created farming estates, which we call commanderies, because that's where you would find the knight's commander. Now, these estates were vital in generating wealth to support the military efforts in the east and later in Spain. You cannot come to southwest France and not visit the caves. There are many caves, and many of them are habitable, or at least were, and this is largely due to the limestone nature of the area, where the action of water has created sinkholes and cave systems all over the place. Having said that, many of these caves are closed to visitors today due to conservation issues. But some of them, few, are open, and that's the case for Pechmerle Cave, which you see on the screen. Pechmerle Cave is a big cave with 2 levels spanning 2 kilometers with plenty of murals dating back from 25,000 BC to 15,000 BC, mostly animal depiction. You can see on the screen the famous dotted horses, but not only, also human handprints, which you can see on the photo as well, and human figures, which can be quite rare in cave art. But what makes it really special for me is as you walk through the cave, you will encounter the footprint left by a child some 14,000 years ago in what was then clay, and I find that rather moving. Last, but certainly not least, is the medieval village of Conques in Aveyron, again in the foothills of Massif Central. I grew up not far, and I remember visiting many times with my parents, and as a kid just running around in the medieval streets. I wasn't aware of the importance of the village then, but Conques is indeed an important medieval site. It grew around the Abbey of Sainte-Foy, which you see on the screen, which was built in the 9th century when the relics of the saint were acquired. It grew to become an important pilgrimage site on the St. James's Way, on the Via Podiensis. There are still a lot of pilgrims coming today for spiritual reason or just to admire the scenery. And the tympanum, which is the decorated part above the front door depicting the Last Judgment, is arguably one of the most beautiful in France. Now this was of course a tiny and very personal selection and represent only a fraction of what you can see and experience in this gorgeous part of France. The best is for you to join us and see for yourself. So I look forward to seeing you on this tour. No more excuses now, and as we say in Occitan, adi chats!